Hi guys. So we've been talking about understanding the ukulele, and this is video number 2. In the first video, it was all about understanding that the length of string contributes to whether the pitch goes up or down. The shorter the string, the higher the pitch. The longer the string length from the bridge through to the nut, the longer that is, the lower the pitch. Our lowest pitch is a G. On a G-tuned ukulele with a low G string, that's your lowest pitch. If I raise that a semitone to G sharp, I've in fact shortened the string by one semitone, 1 fret. We use the term sharpening because the pitch is going up, and I tell you, if you sat on something sharp, what way would you go? Up. Conversely, we talk about a pitch going down. If I play a B pitch, and I go and make the string longer by a semitone, the pitch goes down. We call that going, for in this case, B to B flat. If you had a flat tire, the car would go down. We reference a flat as the direction that is going lower. When we play chords, the same thing is true. So let's talk about chords in their what we call open or home position. That's my terminology. Home position, open position means that you've got strings that are still open when you're playing a chord. The most famous of those chords is the C chord, where 3 of the strings are open and the pitch on the A string is depressed on a C note. Those 4 notes form a C chord. Now, if I continue alphabetically up the musical alphabet, C can be played as an open chord, open strings. D can be played as an open chord. The A string is open, and there it is. Okay. E can't be played as an open chord on the ukulele. So I'm going to bypass it. I'm going to go to F, which, as you know, is played with the 2 fingers on the E string and the G string. So now I've got an F chord. G chord is also played with 1 open string, so it's an open position chord. A chord has 2 open strings. It's played as an open position chord. Unfortunately, we don't have a B chord that can be played in open position. So you have these options: C, D, F, G, A, and then back to C. If I take those chords and I do the same thing as I would do with a pitch, that is, shorten the string or elongate the string, if I do that same thing, I can change the name of the chord moving up or down the instrument simply by ensuring that I do the same thing to every string. Let me explain. Here's a C chord. These 3 strings are open. This string is depressed on the 3rd fret. If I take the first finger across all of the strings, I've now essentially made the neck 1 fret shorter. If I go 3 frets up, 1, 2, 3, and put a finger down, I'm playing the equivalent shape to this C chord. I've simply moved it up and made the neck shorter. If I make the string 1 semitone or 1 fret shorter, I've raised it, sharped it to a C sharp. Here it is. C, C sharp. C, C sharp. C sharp raised a semitone is D. D raised a semitone is D sharp. Raised a semitone is E. Raised a semitone is F. F lowered a semitone goes back to E. Remember the 2 white notes on the piano. E lowered a semitone is E flat. Down a semitone is D. Down a semitone, D flat. Down a semitone, we're back to first position C. The same thing holds true for D chord. If I can manage to put my first finger down in this fret and raise the D chord a semitone higher, so there's my D, raise the semitone higher, cover the A string. Now I've raised the entire chord a semitone. The entire thing is moved up 1 semitone. It's no longer a D chord. It's now a D sharp. If I take that chord and slide all 4 notes up, I've done the same thing consistently to the entire chord. I've now raised it to an E chord. If I take E and raise it, I'm on F. Remember the 2 white notes, E to F on the piano keyboard. If I take my F and raise it a semitone, I'm on F sharp. If I raise it again a semitone to the 5th fret, I'm playing a G chord. That's G chord here and G chord here. Different form of chord, different order of notes, but still a G chord. The same notes here and here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's with the C chord and the D chord. Well, what about the E? Well, wait a minute. No, you told us there is no open form of an E, so bypass it. There is an F. If I take the F chord, raise it a semitone, and cover the other 2 strings, I've now taken the entire chord and shifted it 1 semitone higher. It's not an F anymore. It's now F sharp to G sharp, to A sharp. A sharp's other name is B flat. Back to A flat, back to G, back to G flat, back to F. If I take the G chord and I raise it a semitone, I have to do the same thing with the G that was open. I can't leave it alone. So I move that up. Well, I need this finger. Okay, well, let's make the G with these 3 because I need my first finger to play on the G string. So I slide it up and I put my first finger on the G string in the 1st fret. Now I'm playing a G sharp chord. I raise it. Now I'm playing an A chord. Wait a minute. That's an A? It sure is. That's an A. This is also an A. Different order of notes, but still an A chord. Different order of the 3 notes within a major chord, but still an A chord. This is an A sharp or a B flat. That's my B. And this is a C chord on the 5th fret. Let's see. I've gone through C. I've gone through D. I've gone through F. I've gone through G. What's next? Oh, A. The A chord. If I take that A chord and I slide it up a semitone, I'm going to need my first finger. If I cover these last 2 strings, these ones here that aren't covered right now, I'm now playing an A sharp. You might recognize it as a B flat. And again, if I were going down, making the string longer, we'd call that a B flat. Let's do it as an A raised to A sharp. String shorter. A sharp to B. B to C. Remember the 2 white notes on the piano keyboard. That's a C chord. This is a C chord. This is a C chord. And guess what? You told me that this is also a C chord. So now I've got 3 forms of a C chord that I've learned. All on the understanding of chords sliding up. Using this process works not just for major chords. This is an A7 chord. If I slide it up a semitone, I've now got that's right, A sharp 7. B7, C7, my goodness gracious, C7, but I thought that was C7. They're both C7 chords aligned with the notes in different order. Different inversion or order of notes, but still both C7 chords. Look at that. Out of the A7 form, what you were used to, slid up, A sharp, B, C7, C sharp 7, D7, D7 back, okay, D flat 7, C7, B7, B flat 7. Amazing. There's my B flat 7 chord. Now I've got another chord, the F7 chord. If I add my 5th on the C pitch, my 5th of the chord, I now have a full F7 chord. There's my F, there's my 3rd of the chord, the A, there's the 7 on the E flat, that's the 7th note of the chord, and there's my 5th. F7, slide it up. F sharp 7, slide it up, oh, G7. Both are G7s, but that's right. The notes are aligned differently. It's a different inversion. G7, G sharp 7, A7. My goodness, look at that. A7, both forms of an A7 chord. What should be becoming apparent now is that there are different ways to play major chords, 7 chords, minor chords. There are different forms of them all the way up the neck. If I use that same principle of shortening the neck, every chord moves chromatically from its original position. The last one I want to show you in the sevens, C7, C sharp 7, D7, D sharp 7, E7, F7, F7, back to, that's right, E7, E flat 7, D7, D flat 7, and finally C7. Now when I play the circle of fifths, I have the opportunity to play the circle using the instrument in different spots. So where you're absolutely right to play a C to C7 to F to F7, B flat 7, now you understand why it's a B flat 7. And after the B flat 7, I want to go to an E flat. Well, watch. But watch. Both are E flat chords, here or here. So now I have a choice. E flat 7 is the next chord. I'm going to go to A flat, right? I know that to be an A flat, but I don't have to change. I've got my A flat 7 right here out of the F7 form of the chord. Now I have an A flat 7. I want to go to my next chord, which is going to be a D flat. C sharp, D flat, same thing. I could go back to this form of it or to this form of it. There's a D flat 7, just like that's a D flat 7. The next chord is B. At G flat 7. The next chord then is B, B7. I now need to go to an E chord. I could do it here or here to E flat to E7. Now I have an option of doing an A chord right here or going back. I could play it here and then I've got my A7 out of the F7 form right there. And of course after that comes the D chord, D7. Now I've got a G. There's a G right there, still barred. G7. Look at that. G7 and finally C. So you have the opportunity now to use your understanding of chromatics, your understanding of chord positions, starting with the open chords, sliding them up and being able to form chords all the way up the neck. Now when you go to that circle of fifths, you have the opportunity to play it without having to feel that you've got to go back to an A chord when it would be just as comfortable to play an A chord up the neck 4 frets. I hope that this is something you can embrace. I know that it's a complex thought process, especially if you're not as comfortable with the instrument as you need to be. But trust me, once you get this, once you capitalize this notion, ukulele becomes so much easier to play and so much easier to use to make all kinds of great music. Have fun with it, folks. Enjoy.